Welcome to Schofield's Flowers Podcast 14. Enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, it's Steve Schofield here from Schofield's Flowers. They call me Scof.
And I'm Chris Fratty. People call me Fratty.
And welcome to the show. We're so glad to be back here on our podcast. And we have a pretty cool star joining us. I will say star because she is like an incredible designer here from LA. And her name is Nicola Angelos. And she owns a brand called Get Shagged. And well, that's her handle for I don't know why I say handle. I guess I'm back CV days, right? I got Smokey and the Bandit going here, but yeah, she has a brand called Shagbagg.com, and her IG is at Get Shagged. And wow, I got to tell you, she's a terrific designer, and we had a great time. We met each other at an event, the charity event, and it couldn't have gone better. We became instant friends, and we just had our 1 year anniversary. So I'm excited to have everyone who watches our show to check her her stuff out.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I just learning about how she got into it, and checking out her stuff. It's so unique and different, but it's so like in right now. It's like what a time for her to come in. So great stories too, some celebrity stories that she has there, and
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, and I think she just fits in personality wise. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's colorful. Like, everything she does is very colorful. My niece has been doing some modeling and doing some ambassador work with her, and she's great. She's coming out with a new line of joggers, shag joggers. They're beautiful. Actually, they're on her Instagram right now, and at Get Shagged. And she's just got her sister. I know. I've gotten to know the whole family. It's just like one of those folks. You meet them and they become best friends with you. So I'm excited to have her on.
That's
what have you
awesome.
been up to, by the way?
Well, I've been binge watching Taco Chronicles on Netflix. And I don't think it's going to be good for my waistline. I am just like drooling watching it. Like I thought I had seen the first season, but I guess I missed a few episodes. So like I'm going back and I'm watching episodes on El Pastor and Carnitas and Carne Asada, and then on the newest episode they got one on the fish taco. They got one on the American taco, and I'm just sitting there like drooling, and they're like 30 minutes. So like I'm watching 2 or 3 of them, and then next thing you know, I'm like looking at the clock and it's 3 o'clock, and I'm just starving, and I'm like, when's dinner? What's going on? And it's bad. I texted my mother-in-law and was like, how are your fish tacos? Because I was just like craving tacos at the time, and it honestly, like, don't watch it if you're like hungry or could be hungry. Like, you got to have like a full meal, be stuffed up on the brim, and then watch it. Otherwise, it's that good, and you're just like drooling.
Oh, that's great. That's great, man.
I'm
a foodie.
I know. I saw you were, you took a ride and you were at some tavern, eating some food. Where'd you go?
Where we went? We went to Colds. We went up into Ojai into the mountains, and what a fantastic place. We went to Cold Spring Tavern. Have you ever been there?
I haven't. I actually just last night I was telling my wife we need to get up to Ojai soon and take the baby and do some outdoors, hiking and all that.
Well, this is an old hitching post office, where the cowboys and the wagons would stop by and mail place, and they had back in the day it would be a place like a hotel to stop by, and everything's original from back in the day, like the early 1800s.
Wow.
And it is just the coolest place. It's become a very big motorcycle hang, and all different sorts of people drive there, and I mean, sometimes you got to park your car literally a half a mile away or better, but the walk is nice too. You're walking along the beautiful, trees and everything, and the food is to die for. They cook out. They got these huge pieces of not steak, but what would it be like? Not flank steak, but it's trying to think, where they just slice it up and you get like a bunch of slices of meat, and it's, oh God, it's so good. We had breakfast there. Their grits and everything are to die for.
Wow.
And not grits, what is it when you, I'm losing track of what the hell it is.
Stick with me, Scof.
Well,
Come on.
Eggs, and I know, it's so good. I start thinking about tacos and all the food. Sorry about that, people. This is part of my bloopers. I had a senior moment, but anyways, their damn breakfast is good. That's all I can tell you. Their lunch is good, and it's amazing. You should take a wife up there. It'd be a fantastic place to go.
No, definitely. I think we're supposed to go to Caravan Outpost. We never got a chance to go, so I think, we'll book a stay.
Yeah, book a stay there and just like drive over and stop by Brad's place. You can get a deal there, and it's biscuits and gravy, buddy. That's what I was trying to say. Oh man, biscuits and gravy with the eggs and mixed in, and the bacon they have. Oh, the bacon.
Oh my God.
Like bacon. It's so good. It really, really is. So
I feel like I'm watching Choco Chronicles again. I'm just getting hungry.
We're Chef Quaz, right?
Yeah, and we got an interview with him, so coming up in a few episodes, I think we'll get him on here, and please come full to that one, because otherwise you're gonna leave hungry.
Right. So I mean, I really think that our shows lately have been fantastic. We've got designers, we've got whiskey specialists, we've got chefs that are cooking some of the most amazing food for NBA stars to rappers to whatever. I'm excited having all these guests, and a lot of people reached out to us saying, "Hey, when are you going to bring back the podcast? I always had a good laugh with you or at you."
Mostly, I think at us, but that's fine. I like to make fun of myself every now and then. It's a good laugh.
I always think we're the perfect yin and yang. I just don't know which one we are. I'm probably the yin and you're the yang, or
I don't think it matters. We're both. I think we're both idiots, but that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. I've never had a better time. So,
well, let's kick it over and let's get shagged.
Yeah, let's do it. Get shagged.
That's today.
Well, I have the most wonderful, actually it's our anniversary, right? 1 year ago I met this woman and my life changed, right? Seriously. So I have Nicola Angelos, and she is the owner and designer of Shagbagg.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, her handle out there is on IG is at Get Shagged. And actually, we were at what was the name of the event that we went to?
Well, I was gonna say you guys can call me Cola or Coco. That's my nickname.
Okay. We gotta have a nickname on the show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. We actually met at the Sunset Marquee. They were doing an anti-bullying event that we had donated a jacket for with an anti-bullying slogan on the back, and so that was part of the silent auction. But then this gentleman walked in with a jumpsuit, of course, looking fly, like a little, like a car mechanic jumpsuit. And it was awesome. And I had to comment. And
Nice.
Just talked fashion, and that was that.
Yeah, that was that. Helped. I met her sister, who actually we have a call with today. She's been working on a great story documentary about Joe Young, who was the real
George.
Or George Young.
Yeah. No,
George Young.
Who, Johnny Depp portrayed in the movie Blow.
And I bet Scof was in love with the brand since he heard the Instagram name of Get Shagged.
Shagged, yeah, right?
I mean, really, look at this hat. This is one of our new products. It's fantastic.
Too bad you don't have the van. I could just see you in the van strolling down Sunset with that.
We did a shoot with the van, actually, with the tie-dye blankets. So that's actually on our Instagram. We shot it with his niece, Franny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you. Okay. All right. So how did you get here? I mean, how did you come up with where'd you go to school, and how did you come up with the name, and how did you wind up deciding to start this venture?
So this was kind of a follow your heart type of stories where I was in law school down in Miami, and just kind of day in and day out was a struggle, and getting was realizing I was becoming more increasingly unhappy. And I realized that it was something that I was pursuing because of family, a family member, and, you know, that was the plan. But then I decided to, you know, look inward and see what it was that I was really passionate about and what I would love doing every day. And it was in the fashion and design world. And so I transferred that first semester to the Miami International University of Art and Design in downtown Miami. And I mean, when I looked it up, it was 10 minutes across the bridge, scheduled a tour. I got in like 2 weeks later, and my whole life was changing. So that's kind of like the beginning of it. And yeah, that was when I was 22. So it's been 10 years now.
Okay.
So what? Go ahead, Scott. I was gonna say, what did you do in between, you know, graduating with your, you know, within fashion, and then, you know, going into your own brand?
So that after that first semester, or that first year of fashion design school, my sister, our worlds were kind of colliding in that my sister had recently moved out to Los Angeles. And it was always a goal of mine to eventually get out here. And she had met friends who were launching a line. It was the original owner and designer of Von Dutch Hats. And they were launching a onesie line of adult onesies.
Awesome.
But because they had that brand power, they were able to get it, you know, onto a lot of celebs. They had the manufacturers. They knew all of the sourcing and the places to go. So I basically asked the brand manager if I could shadow him for that summer. And that's how I kind of learned my way around. And between there and starting my own line, it was probably a couple years waiting tables and stuff like that. And even once I launched it, I was still waiting tables. But you know, and I did that for probably about like 4 to 5 years.
Sure, everybody does though.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody does. I worked at a cigar store. I was a bartender when I got out here, even though I had my business was solid for many years. But I just felt like I had made the move, and it was like, I need to make some extra money. I got too many kids here.
Oh my gosh, yes, you have so many kids.
Yeah, it's just like I'm a fertile guy.
Yeah, this is the Get Shag podcast, so we can go into those avenues.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did it become Shag, and then how did the name come about?
I was actually talking with a friend about this last night. When I was finishing up that first year of law school, it was during finals weeks, which get really heavy and intense, and you're having to draw and sketch and do all these, you know, projects. And basically you're pulling all-nighters in order to get them done. Mm-hmm. So I finally had a chance to lie down in between classes, and I took like a 30-minute nap. But when I kind of laid down, I saw like a shaggy bag, like a vision. And it's like kind of when, you know, when you're a writer or anything creative, or, you know, it could be anything. Yeah. If you have your mind going 24/7 on something, and then you kind of shut off the conscious part of it, the subconscious can sometimes shine through. And I think that's basically what happened. And I got up and I drew the bag that day, and I came up with the logo right then. And I was like, oh, it was Shagbagg. And yeah, just kind of, you know, it took me a few years to actually like you know, started and everything. But yeah, that was the initial concept.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I think it really formed out of my love of the 1960s and that whole movement, Summer of Love, and, you know, when there were so many conflicts going on in our country, but people were also finding a time for like peace and love, and the music that came along with it. And I mean, when I got into fashion, I just really wanted to do something different that nobody else was really doing. And so I think those two things paired together is kind of like where that was born of my subconscious.
And here you are right again, full circle. We're right back into the 60s, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what would you say has probably been the hardest part about owning your own business?
The hardest part, just because I am a natural creative, it means that sometimes my mind doesn't compute numbers as easily, maybe. So it would be kind of figuring out that sweet balance between, you know, what you're putting into it, and then, balancing that kind of stuff out. But I feel like as a startup, you're always going to try to keep like, staying above ground, but it's going to take you a couple years. But other than that, I mean, we're still good. We're still profitable. So yeah.
Well, and
but that has been an issue.
So now that you're here and we've had this pandemic and everything, how did you shift?
So with everything going on and everyone kind of staying in their homes, I shifted into home goods and started pillows and blankets and stuff. And when we came out with the pillows, they sold out that day. So that was a really great feeling. And that kind of showed us which direction to be going in during quarantine.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's great. And the blankets are fantastic. How did they do too?
They did well. We had that, beautiful shoot, but it was like more so, I think that people can grasp the pillows because it's already kind of like a 3D fabric, as you can tell. Yeah. Once it has something behind it, then it just, really, it draws the attention and people, just want it.
Yeah, I have a pillow. Once you have it in your arms, you don't want to let go. You go everywhere with it, right?
Yeah, the orb pillow.
The orb pillow.
Yeah. Similar to your Scof pillows,
I gave those finally. I auctioned those off. I had pillows with my face on.
Oh my God.
And we gave them away to a guy. I auctioned them off because my wife was like, you don't need these pillows. I said, yeah, but they're great. And I auctioned them off on Valentine's Day. And it was hilarious, And some dude won them and he goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I says, give them to a girl. My face is on them. I'm telling you, dude, you'll really get, you'll get shagged.
Yeah. It's too funny.
Yeah, but it's funny. So no, it's great. And then, and so now you got the hats going. And what's the inspiration behind the hats and this jacket? How fly is this jacket, huh?
That's a rad jacket.
Thank you.
Hats first, but then she's got a great story about Jack White too.
Oh yeah.
Which is fantastic. So talk about the hats first and then.
So the hats actually came about last week. I recently invested in a sewing machine, something that I haven't done in like 10 years, which was sewing. And the initial intent was to just kind of get things going. So, get prepped for the holidays and everything like that. And then I was like, well, let me just try out a bucket hat. And then now I've made like 5 or 6, and anyway, but a lot more. These were just product samples that I did last week. So, I think those are going to probably be a big hit for holiday season and fall.
So are they a limited edition, you think? Will they be?
They're definitely limited edition right now, just because I'm also with the pandemic and everything that that's been happening. That's another reason why I kind of stopped production on the jackets and everything like that and started focusing on selling what I have in stock because the last thing I want to do right now is create more waste. And so that's why I was like, well, home goods are going to sell. Like that's, but basically, they will be limited edition because I'm working with everything that I've had in stock already, which varies in colors and patterns and, like anything that was originally used for the lining of a jacket.
Oh, wow.
Like that.
Ooh, beautiful.
That's great.
They'll be going into the hats. So.
And then, I'm going to grab one of these blankets, Fratty. They're just wonderful.
Yeah. And for the most part, everything, of course, handcrafted, but also hand dyed.
How nice is that?
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's awesome.
Yeah. My niece actually had them on. They had this, like a blanket like this for when we had the van, and it could not have gone better. It was really a fun shoot and everything. Yeah. But with winter coming too, this is like, oh my God, it's so cozy.
It's bright colors. It's fun. One of my, I've had somebody who turned into a friend, been tie-dyeing the shag now for a couple years. She goes by Tie-Dye Queen. She lives out in the desert and just basically like does really well for her own business, but I was contracting out tie-dye and stuff. And so they're just kind of magical. She does a great job.
So tell us this Jack White story.
Well, basically, I went to a record signing and I had on my jacket and my bag, and it was kind of like they were filing you through really quickly, but it was actually for the raconteurs. And I said something to Brendan, his bandmate who was sitting next to him, like, and had to get close because it was so loud in there. And I like leaned back, and Jack was like, nice jacket and bag. And like he realized that it was like a set because I had on my fanny pack too. And then the jacket, I was like, oh my God. I was like, thanks so much. I was like, we'd really love to do something with Third Man, something like that, which is his record label. Do you mind if I give you a card? And so he was like, yeah. And so spoke with his manager for a little bit, who's also very nice, and ended up sending him a jacket with Third Man Records on the back. And now I heard it's in their archives and display. But he is
great.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so he's
great.
also, but really into upholstery and everything like that, and how we're like moving into home goods. Like, I don't know. It's inspiring and it's cool. And I love how everyone's really domesticated these days. But
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say our first in terms of a good celebrity story though would be, first and foremost, Snoop Dogg. That was
Snoop would love this hat.
I know. I'm sending him one.
Oh my
and
God.
his son. Yeah. Cordell is like really making a name for himself in the fashion industry, his son. So they're definitely getting some. But yeah, I mean, I had originally sent a bag over to his compound for his wife. And then the next thing we know, on Instagram, he's posting photos with the bag. And it was like, was a beautiful like purple to orange ombre with like white python leather tote bag. And then, so gradually seeing him posted on his Instagram, and I was like, what's happening? And then my sister happened to be interning in the office at the time and saw him walking into a meeting with the security guard carrying the bag. And then he came out with it after the meeting was over. My sister was like, did you like the present I gave you? And he was like, oh shit, this you. And she's like, no, it's my sister. And he's like, you tell your sister this is a shit. And like, held it up and like handed a phone to one of his producers, like, take a picture of us.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then my sister ended up like working her way up more in the company in terms of the production side of things. So, I mean, we were at that point like made more products for him, more tote bags. One of these bomber jackets, but in like Lakers colors. We have a picture of that on our website. And then, so, I mean, it eventually grew into my sister is still good friends with the family and everything. So yeah, we'll definitely be getting some of those hats.
Can you imagine working for Snoop? I went to one meeting with him actually. At the compound, and I came out higher than a kite. And somebody said to me, what just happened? I said, I don't know. I can't remember a thing. Too hot.
Well, we had Snoop Dogg play at our venue in December, and it was insane. Place was packed. I do the observatory in Santa Ana.
Okay, cool.
And so it's 1,000-person room. I oversee the premium seating, which is upstairs. You got little like kind of lounge back there. It's the only place you can get seating. Mm-hmm. And so packed house that night, and it was just, blew the roof off. Good time. And I mean, it really didn't matter if you were like a diehard fan or not, just like being in there. It was just so much fun. And like, I don't know if you like it's one of those artists where you don't need to know his albums, but you're like, I know that song. Oh yeah, I know that song. I know that song. Like, it's just the greatest hits, of music. And you don't even have to have listened to his music, to know it.
No, totally. I mean, he's an icon, and especially here, of course, in SoCal, like he's just a legend. And the community, the LA community, really respects him so much.
He does so much for the kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kids, midget football or widget,
right.
whatever you call it now. I mean,
you can't say that word anymore, Scof.
Yeah. Can we say widget?
I think that would be acceptable.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about like, you mentioned Instagram and things like that. That's where the minute I met you, I was like intrigued by everything I saw, and then your sister was awesome. She was pregnant at the time, and I gave you. I started looking at your Instagram. I was like, wow, this girl has it together. So you've been doing well. You got over
Thanks.
10,000 followers, and it keeps growing and everything. Like, how you feeling about different platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and I think what's the other one, TikTok and things like that. What's your thoughts on some of the trends right now, for at least socially?
Socially, I mean, so just the consensus that I've gathered now that TikTok is totally blowing up is, whether it is even the kids new thing or whatnot, it's a lot more engagement on TikTok. I haven't even wanted to or dipped my toe in the pool just because I know it's very time consuming, but the amount of engagement that you're going to receive from your audience is tremendous. It's kind of like TikTok is giving its viewers that vibe of, this is a real person, this is not made up, this is me in my natural habitat and environment, whereas Instagram is very can at times be very superficial and based on vanity, and I think that's why it's gained a lot of traction. So.
Yeah, and I just saw like this one mom. She's really huge. She has over 3 million followers for making her daughter's lunch.
Oh, cute!
And it's so cute because she's Asian and she makes these little bento boxes for her and everything. And it's salami, maybe rolled, like she makes it like almost like a rolled sushi,
Nice.
And it's just really cute. And I think she had it was nuts. I mean, it could have been 10 million people saw the first one. It just like she woke up one day and everybody's calling her saying, you realize you got like 10 million hits? And now she has a steady flow of 3 million.
Wow.
There's a YouTuber, a kid. He's like one of the top YouTubers in the world, makes like, 20 million a year or something like that, just opening toys and reviewing them and like playing with them. And basically like people just send him their toys to get reviewed. And if he, so he has free toys, makes a video, throws it on there, and just makes so much money. And it's crazy, some of these things that people are able to do. Like you were saying how, Snoop was posting about it, and, you get a celebrity who, organically endorses it without not, really doing much. And it can be a game changer for a, small brand that's up and coming, or even a brand that's been around for a while to get to that next level. Like bands, there's that 10-year overnight success where it's like 10 years, you're on the road, you're in a van, you're grinding out, you're slowly building a base, and then something happens where 10 years of work finally pays off, and then, the next day they're on the radio, they're all over the, TV, and it's like, oh, this band came out of nowhere. And it's like, no, they spent 10 years grinding it out, slowly building, so that when the time right, they could explode.
Totally. I mean, that's exactly what, in that book, The Tipping Point, how Malcolm Gladwell talks about the Beatles and the 10,000 hour rule, and how they kind of, to America, came out of nowhere, but it's like nobody knew that they were playing, 24/7 in a sweaty club in Hamburg, and, literally learned every mistake or anything that you could probably make, and, then just blew up.
Yeah. Well, I saw a number of bands in London before they ever launched here, and they were American bands.
Wow.
And then they blew up through Dave Curtin, a buddy of mine. So I'm trying to think. I'll think of the name of the band that we saw. It was amazing. I was like, what? They're here? How the hell did they go? They're blowing them up here in London, and then they're gonna move them back stateside. I was like, wow. And they're from like Alabama or Georgia.
Oh, I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, they loved it. As the Beatles loved blues, and
totally.
Yeah, they were huge.
Idolized Elvis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, so what about what do you see trends coming up in the future?
I see, and the only reason why I brought up my tie-dyer friend, who, started out doing all my tie-dye, is because she's just blown up over this pandemic. And I think that what that signifies to me is that people are just kind of craving more bright colors, more uplifting elements in their fashion and their homes during all of this.
I have to agree with you. If you look at all the surf shops right now, everything's the same colors that we have right now. The orange, this look at these hats. Right? I mean, they're fun, right? go to the
Yeah.
beach with like this.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, wearing a hat in the first place, you always wear a hat, and I do too. But it's like a statement, and some people just can't wear them, and other people can.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's just having fun with it, and that's more than anything. That's what I love about your brand. I think it's bright, it's colorful. It does remind me of things that back in the '60s, and I do think it's your messaging is fantastic. So, I mean, we were talking about what the 20s and 30s, right?
Yeah, we're big on prohibition and true crime from the gangster era. So hopefully one of these days, maybe the Gatsby style clothing will come back into fashion, or at least be a inspiration towards the fashion again. And things come full circle. So right now we're going like super casual. Everyone's working from home in t-shirts and shorts. So I'm sure when people get back to the office, at first it'll be tough to wear normal clothes or business professional clothes again. But maybe it'll kind of keep going because people will be like, I literally haven't worn a pair of jeans since March. So it's like when I get the chance to wear jeans again, like I'll actually be excited. It's too hot right now to even want to, but when it can, it's like I have 3 or 4 pairs of jeans that I usually wear on a daily basis in my rotation, and they just sat there. So I think for some it may actually go that way sooner than later, because I mean I haven't worn a suit in years. I have them, but it's like I don't need them for my job now. So it's like they just got put on a shelf, and then sometimes it's fun, and then fun becomes like, well, let me just start wearing a little more of it. Or, oh, we're going out for dinner, I'll wear dress up like they used to. Disneyland has Dapper Day now where everyone gets dressed up. Somehow it got put in, like, I want to say it's like April or May. I don't know how that got selected. That's always a hot day, and you're in a 3-piece suit and a wool hat. But
they have a gentleman's ride too for the motorcycle for November and things like that. And that's everybody dresses with bow ties and suits and everything, and that's fun. And then we were going to have, one of the 1933 group we've been talking to a little bit, right? And so we were supposed to do a pop-up, and I talked to you about it. And over at Marlowe's.
Okay.
And
Harlow's.
What is it called?
Harlow's with an
Harlow's.
H.
I apologize.
Oh, where is it?
Yeah. Harlow's is on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay.
Oh, it's such a beautiful place. I mean, Fratty, you used to live right over there. And
Yep. I got a little too drunk there one time. Fun story. So wife and I go on a date night, and it's this awesome spot. It's like a 1920s Hollywood bar. So kind of glitzy glamour, kind of tables on the outside, 360 bar in the middle. So we're sitting at the bar, we went out to dinner. We had a couple drinks. We had a gift card to Olive and Vine. Is that a restaurant? I think. Yeah. So we had a gift card there, went there. So, want to use up our card. So we ordered a couple rounds on top of our dinner, drinks, appetite, whole thing. And then we're like, oh, we're just around the corner from Harlow's. Let's go there. So we take a Uber over to Harlow's, and I was ordering Boulevardiers.
Okay.
Which is basically a Negroni with whiskey instead of gin. So it's whiskey, Campari, vermouth.
Really good.
3-ounce drink, so it's not very much. I drink drinks quick when they're that small, and it's not really a sipper. It's a sipper, but it's not a sipper. It's refreshing. It's good. And my wife's ordering a gin and tonic, so much more volume to her drink. So I drink one, she's like halfway done with hers, so I order another. Well, by the time they get mine made and given to me, she's just about done with hers and orders another. So we ended up on this game where I was drinking like 1.5 at the rate she was drinking 1. So then I'm like, oh, she's almost done. All right, I'll order another one. I'll get it. We'll be good. But then she would order another one. And so next thing you know, and we're just sitting at the bar, like sitting down, which, obviously will add to the story is, I think we had a couple drinks at the restaurant, and then I end up having 5 cocktails at the bar. She had 3 gin and tonics, and both of us are feeling great. Everything's good. We pay our tab. We're like, let's get out of here. I stand up, and I'm just like, oh man, like it just hit me. I'm like, got the spin. So we get our Uber ride. I barely remember the Uber ride.
Yeah.
And basically was like, on just like, on the cab or Uber, home, just like we get home, get inside the apartment, and like wife just goes, I don't feel good. Goes to the bathroom, comes back, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I feel good either. Go to the bathroom, throw up. And then this was on like either a Friday or Saturday night, whichever day it was. The next day we were just useless. Like neither one of us wanted to eat anything, didn't want to do anything, just off our ass. And it's just because we were having such a good time, like not paying attention, just, oh yeah, we'll have another, sitting down, just they're playing good music, and we're
so
just,
good. The drinks are so
it's
good.
not like you were even out partying. You were just having like a date night. Like,
yeah,
we'll go for a nightcap at the
Yeah.
bar. And it's like,
I think Nick and I, when we hit it, we'll get working and talking about, she just loves branding, and we've just been really becoming great friends. And and she's going to start working with us with Schofield's Flowers and start doing. We're going to try and get going on some really great social projects. I mean, she's working with a restaurant called Chuck's Seafood, and just crushing it for them, right?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, they've seen like a 20 to 25% increase. I mean, it's in business. I mean, so it's just like, taking a company that really has no social presence, and then when you start really pumping it up and putting a spotlight on it and gaining a new audience and stuff, just I mean, and it's only been like 2 months since then, so it's really cool to see, and that's why I talked to Scof about it. It's like we need to get something more like this going, because I know businesses right now who are not necessarily doing well, like restaurants, could really appreciate that boost.
Yeah. And I mean, manifestos for companies right now I'm seeing. I mean, people are just having to talk, they're just so worried and so stressed. When you're stressed and worried like that, I just noticed that people can't get shit done. But if you're clear-headed and you really tackle the problem and really think what I have to do and where I need to spend my finances in order to make my business sing, which is social in a lot of ways, or even writing up a manifesto for a company to say, look, you need to pivot. Here's where the world's going, and this is what you need to do. What I'm seeing a lot is wellness is becoming a big area. Every discussion, self-care, which in a lot of ways, this is self-care. It brightens you up, right?
Do you mind if I grab a pillow real quick?
No. Grab a pillow and grab a purse too. It's great.
Sorry, guys.
What are you drinking there, Fratty? Scotch?
No, I got a, it's a, they call it the Civil War.
What is it?
It's whiskey, vermouth, Chinar, which is an artichoke liqueur, and bitters. So it's basically a Manhattan with Chinar.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That sounds great, dude.
Nice. So basically, I mean, just to like segue into that's one of the new orb pillows, but it just is like, literally, I've had friends come over and like just start talking about their day and like whatever going into it, and like just next thing we know, they've been holding on to the pillow for 30 minutes. And I mean, it's just kind of I have a friend who's an occupational therapist. She works with kids with autism who, every range, they may be, have a severe handicap, and she was initially one of my like biggest fans. I mean, she's a friend, but she got a jacket, a blanket, etc. And so when she found when she'd wear them, when she'd be teaching the kids or working with the kids, they were so drawn to the tactile and the texture of the shag, and then they ended up, they would pass it around the class in the circle and have like the blanket on their lap or whatever. And it really started leading us into also of how it can be, it's kind of like an ASMR vibe, like, but it can also be kind of like touch therapy, or like I was talking to a friend the other day who she has a kimono, and she was like, we went out and camped this, there may have been some other things going on, like they were having some getting out of their just to say.
Sure.
But, she's like, I had on my kimono and I felt like it was my second skin, and it was just kind of like a weighted blanket for me or something. And like now my boyfriend wears it. I may have to get one for him. And it's just, the same how weighted blankets became really popular out of nowhere. I mean, it kind of has like those same properties where it's, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's
she gave me a handmade pillow that she had.
Whoa, I thought something else was coming out of your mouth there, Scof.
I am with that Shag.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Shag.
Yeah,
Cast.
but I had it at the house, and so my son is getting married to a girl, but and they have already had a baby, Oliver. But he has two. He's the father now to two other kids that she had previously. So I consider them my grandchildren. Right? They're
Of course.
amazing kids, and so Izzy saw it sitting on she grabbed it and sat just like that on our couch watching TV. And then she went on the floor and was laying on it. And then she had it. And I was like, oh, I just knew she wanted it. I just knew she wanted that pillow. And I knew it was special because she's such a friend. But I was like, Izzy, you like that pillow? She goes, oh, Papa, this is so cool. Where is this? Blah, blah. And I showed her brand. And she's like, oh my God, it's so cool. And I think she wants to get into fashion design and things. Nice. I said, okay, we'll take it home with you. She was, oh my God, I just redid my room and everything else. So that's like, really cool. So,
yeah.
And I think, today I opened up something. I work with a brand called Elevation Barn, and Will Travis, he is very big in the advertising industry, and he started this wellness brand that he's working also with Sunny Singh out of Seattle. We've been bidding on some cool projects with them, but they have a mentorship program. Mm-hmm. And he asked me, he says, would you mind jumping on the line with a couple kids that they just want to hear your advice. And I'll show you the video and I'll show you what they put together. And I got it in today and it was just so good. So I talked to two kids. One was in Dubai.
Wow.
Dubai. And she was, she grew up in, where was she? Philippines, I believe. And then her dad's is a technology guy, so he's in Dubai. And I'm like, wow, how's that? And she's, interesting, for sure. How long you been there? 8 years. So it was really interesting chat. But she's the schooling is she's going to American school like there, English school. And then the other guy was in Scotland. Mm-hmm. And so I had one in Dubai, I'm in LA and in Scotland, and these kids got so much out of this. So I'll show you to that. So I mean, mentoring kids, mentorship. I mean, have you thought about that? I know you.
No, I would love that.
Yeah, I would think it would be good.
Yeah,
right? Because as a kid, you could talk about how to get. Everybody wants to know how you got there.
Yeah, of course. I think that I'm sure you know this, that as telling your kids or teaching them to do what they're passionate about, or and kind of like maybe starting them young, or allowing them to do that is so important. And because I was always very creative, like as a kid, I'm left-handed, so it just was always there. But then growing up in South Florida, or a small hometown, you don't think that fashion design or any creative avenue is kind of like a plausible idea. And not that it's frowned upon, but I mean, it's just is kind of like out of the question. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, so we should talk about mentorships and things like that on another episode. And I know you brought this purse over.
Yeah.
Or what do we call
it?
Fanny,
this is one of the
fanny
packs. Yeah, the fanny packs are
your
probably
wife needs a fanny
our
pack.
bestseller. I mean, we have them in all different colors and solid colors and everything. This was one of the dyed ones that we did with Tie-Dye Queen. But I mean, those, I still wear them every day because it's just great for a woman. If you need to carry a bunch of stuff, you can wear it around your waist or
a lot
shoulder.
Of times that's how.
I wear it over
the shoulder.
Oh yeah,
Franny does. Yeah.
And then those were also one of our like big hits for festivals.
Yeah.
So
no, I think 60s is obviously the inspiration and vibe of this, but also like 90s is very like in right now with the fanny packs and the bucket hats. So it definitely is like a mix kind of the two. And
for
I have a fanny pack because wearing shorts, like I don't want to put my keys and my phone and my wallet in my pockets because I mean, with hockey thighs, there's just no room in shorts. So I have a little fanny pack and I just wear it over my shoulder, wherever we go. And it's so much more convenient.
So convenient.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have one too. I got a Civil War one.
That's awesome.
It's made out of leather. I got it in Austin, Texas. is a
Oh my
replica of
God.
what they wore back in the day.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Sort of cross, you know.
Yeah.
It just sits there. It's like it's made for sitting around the, your side here. So
Yeah.
I get a lot of like, dude, where'd you get that thing? You know, I just
That's
couldn't
awesome.
pass up on
Originally holding bullets and stuff.
it. Yeah,
like that.
originally holding bullets. It's got a little lighter holder and things like that. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
cool.
And a little secret hiding zipper in the back and everything. So
Wow.
Nice.
Well,
So-
anything you want to add? I know you guys got a wrap here soon.
well,
Obviously.
what about what's your favorite cocktail?
Ah.
I was gonna say whatever Scof makes. I mean, we'll have our like branding sessions or the Friday happy hours normally. When we'll get together for branding stuff, like brainstorming stuff. And so we'll be like, I'm bringing over my vodka that already has olive infused in it, and So I'm like, great, sounds good. But I do love an old fashioned. And then White Claw Summer. Like that's
What a difference. Bourbon and
I
martini
know.
to
No,
White Claw Summer.
exactly. No, I've been normally a bit. I do love beer, but in the beginning of quarantine, I got it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I got to do something less calories.
Yeah, right. I know. I can only do one. If I do a couple beers, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Fratty's a big cocktail. When it comes to old fashioned, I'd say.
Love old fashioned Manhattan, Sazerac, Boulevardier. I love the like complexity yet simplicity of these cocktails because it's like 3 to 5 ingredients, but so it's super simple to make. Most of them are spirit forward, but it's like it has a complexity to it that like just kind of that old timey crafted vibe. And then the other thing I'm really into is tiki. I don't know if you can see behind me.
I love that. Oh my God, do you love tiki teas?
I love tiki teas. We lived around the corner from it in Silver Lake.
Okay,
So
nice.
we would go there. Now being in Orange County, when Disneyland is open, there's a tiki bar called Trader Sam's at the Disneyland Hotel. That's really cool.
I miss the Polynesian vibes, like old Disney. Like,
yep.
So I'd say that's probably like, and not whatever. Even if it's on ice, a pina colada with a dark rum floater. Like, and they have something similar at Tiki Tea, and it's so good. Yeah.
So anytime we go somewhere, we're always looking where they have it. Palm Springs is great. We call it the Tiki Crawl. They have Tonga Hut. So we typically go there for dinner. We'll have a drink, and then like 2 streets down is Bootleggers, which is an old trader Don the Beachcomber spot. He like invented tiki drinks. Nice. And then if you go to I'm blanking. There's a hotel, and it's called, in the hotel, their pool bar is called Reef, or the Reef, and it's a tiki bar. So like we'll go to one, have food, we'll go to the other, have drinks, and then we'll finish off at the third one, because then you can get some food there too. And it's always a good time. I was just in Palm Springs last weekend. We didn't go. We were only there for a couple days. But it's always a good time.
Yeah, so now we got to have a tiki show.
Yeah.
We definitely should do another tiki.
Yeah, we got to have a tiki.
Can I sit in on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we loved it. This has been so fantastic with her, right? I mean, we love to like have you on more and have you, talk about the vibes of fashion. And of course, you could talk about your updates, but it's always good to know about what other things that you like and talk about other brands that you think are really blowing up and things like that, and why people should, be like the fashion expert for us.
Yeah, philosophy, whatever we, want to talk about.
Awesome.
I could use some of that about just mental health.
Stimulation. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Take a hammer to my head and it'll work.
So now that everyone's hooked on it, where can they find you again so they can get some awesome products?
So you can peep our store on Instagram at Get Shagged, or our website is www.shagbagg, shagbagg.com.
Perfect. Hey everyone, we're back from the interview with Nicola Angelos from Get Shagged, and wow, how much fun was she?
She's a blast. She's I would say a younger, prettier version of you.
I always tell her, well, it's so funny because we became instant friends.
Yeah.
And it's like when you become friends like that, I'm like, yeah, it's just like, she's so talented. All we ever do is talk about fashion, design, and just, we talk about LA, and I just, love her stories, right?
Yeah. No, how crazy, like Jack from the White Stripes,
I mean, great.
running into him and having him like, obviously it speaks for itself because her stuff's amazing, but for him to then, be interested in the brand and all that. So that was cool to hear. And obviously fun.
Yeah, she recently just had dinner with Johnny Depp too, and her and her sister for a documentary project that her
Right.
sister
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and George. So I mean, she's just that type of person. It's that soulful person that you just like go, I want to get to know her because she's just fun.
Yeah. And I think you have a some sort of beacon where like either you or they like just connect to each other. It's like a lot of
Well,
energy, into fashion and oddities, and all of a sudden it's just like best friends. Who
I'm going to show you something really quick. You're going to kick out of. So I took this picture, right? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Me and this like fancy robe that I got from an antique store years ago, and then her and I were like talking. I was like, they're really coming back with I think men's smoking jacket and loungewear is going to be big, and so here we are. We're already starting to play around with the smoking jacket, right?
Nice. You got to get it private labeled, like with the Scof head on it.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, we were watching it. Look at we got Jennifer Aniston during can you see her?
Yep.
Jennifer Aniston during the Emmys, and then one of the girls from which is it, the Ozark, from Ozark.
Yeah.
Her and her husband were all dressed up, and look at her husband's outfit.
Oh wow. Yeah.
He had on it like a smoking, like it's just like a lounge. And she on the 20s, of course, but I love her, by the way. She plays one of the characters in Ozark. And so I just, it just like flows with her, so I just really adore her. And she's been become friends of the fam and a whole bit. And I just wish you lived in LA County, dude. So we got to get you out this way more often. Because the last time I drove to you, it took me 10 hours.
Well, I mean, Steven there lives in the boondocks of Orange County. So it's another half hour, 45 minutes from me, in Orange County. I think from end to end's like less than an hour. So, But Scof, I know we talk a lot about flowers, but recently I think my COVID project has been indoor plants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been doing some research and trying to find some indoor plants. And it's funny, they say like match the plant to your personality and lifestyle. So like if you're an overwaterer, here are good plants for you because these plants won't die from being overwatered. Or if like you're forgetful and maybe it goes a couple weeks between watering, get this one. But yeah, so I've been we're kind of still we've lived in our apartment for over a year now, and we're still like adding and kind of doing our decor. And so I found some like shelves that we want to put up in our living room, and so then I'm like, well, what are we gonna put on them? I'm looking up some different plants. I want to get like one of those like spider ones and put that on there. I want to get like a fern put in my little tiki area. So I'm like looking for stuff now, and I think it's I think you're just rubbing off on me from all the floral events we've been doing.
Well, Charlotte, who was our burlesque dancer.
Yep.
So she just started these great plant. Let me show you. I just got her on Instagram. It's Charlotte, and her last name is ChauPech. But look at these plant holders that she's created.
Oh, cool.
Indoor.
Yeah. And that I want to get like some ones that I can hang from the ceiling and kind of take some vertical space up, and instead of putting them on the floor.
I even hit her up saying, so what I'm trying to do and what I've been wanting to talk to you about too is that I want to start having we have our store at Schofield's Flowers, and we got the hats and the t-shirts and everything like that. But I'd like to start getting some real products on there. Like I asked Charlotte, would you be interested in selling them on Schofield's Flowers? Start doing men's wear, like the smoking jacket. And then, I thought about today doing kimonos. You know, kimonos, for women, something like what Jennifer Aniston had with doing a collab with Nicola and Shagbagg. So those are some of the types of talks we're having. And so it's exciting times, dude. I'm so excited. And this fuels it too, to me. This is the show. Yeah. Well, I think that's it today. But obviously enjoyed catching up with you, and thanks for tuning in, and check out our next episode next week. I think we got Jonathan Scott on from Vegas. Yep. And look out for our bloopers every so often. Fratty likes to make fun of me. I don't make fun of you. You bring me the content. Right? So, all right, buddy, I got to fly. I got another Zoom. All right, we'll Zoom later. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, Scof. All right, see you, buddy. Thanks. If when I say, like, like, all right. And then, I was thinking if, I was thinking of like, I mean, if you make, whatever, I mean, yeah. All right. So then, right. So then we can just come back.